and welcome to another live Friday afternoon Qigong session. So the sun's been semi-shining here. It's a bit humid today, so make sure you've got some drinks at hand. Find what feels good, enough space to spin your arms around your body, and we're going to just be recapping over the last four of the QiGong treasures today. So the same as last week, and we'll build that. It just gives the body time to integrate it all. So we'll start with our usual warm up and find what's comfortable for you, whether standing or seated. So let's start with our figures of 8 and get them wrists nice and open up. When we consistently warm up the body, it's like it sets the whole system, the mind, the body kind of knows what's coming and start to settle into that relaxed place a bit more readily. Really get them fingers flexing. And now just turning out the arms. This is to open up the elbows. So we're just windmilling the arms around, opening up the elbow joint. Just bringing some awareness to each part of the body before we move can help prevent any injury and get things nice and warm. And sometimes loosen them up if they don't always. Right, let's go for our shoulders. So let's just round them shoulders round. Got to admit, I quite love working the shoulders. Especially if I'm carrying a lot of heavy stuff. With this one, it can be nice to take the backs of the palms behind you and then scoop them round. So I have a slight wave going through my spine as well, but this one's just nice to let the shoulder carry the lower arms. So the lower arms are just following round from the shoulders. The movement's all in the upper arm. And then just a couple of times back to reset. Really let them shoulder blades drop. Maybe give the arms a bit of a shake. Lovely. So let's go on. In fact, we'll warm up our neck first and our shoulders a little bit more. So let's do our owl spread. Owl turns its head. So our hands in front of our pelvic region, our lower abdomen, and then we just turn them so the palms are facing each other. Turn outward and let the fingers drop down to the floor, lifting slightly in the crown. Always be careful and aware with your own neck. Find what feels good in your body. Take what works, leave what doesn't. We can all learn to listen to the messages of our own body, taking responsibility for knowing what's going to feel good, what's going to serve or not serve in this moment. Because no 2 days will be the same. Okay, so let's now go on to stork spreads its feathers. So let's just wiggle them fingers, bring some nice awareness to the hands, open up the palms even. Just give them a bit of a stretch, open up them palms. And now with those nice open palms, we're going to imagine scooping water in front of us and pushing it away and behind at the sides, lifting at the crown of the head. You can also imagine the crown and the tailbone gently pushing apart from each other just to give a bit of support through the spine, whole body awareness. Really let them shoulder blades drop down. Scoop in. And now we're going to lift the crown. We're going to take the crown and imagine a line of opposition between the crown and the opposite fingers, which gives a bit of support for the neck. Always be careful when rolling the neck. Find what works for your body. It's a gentle stretch. It's not about creating further tension or stress on the body. It's just about giving it that invitation to open up a little. As we might wish to roll the chin over, maintaining that lift in the crown. So we're now aware of that opposition between the crown and these opposite fingers. Feeling the top of the shoulder release. And you can bring in some nice abdominal breaths as well. Whole body awareness. That's the thing I love about Qigong. When I focus on the body, it gives my mind so much to focus on. It can take a bit of a break from the everyday. So now that we've got the neck and the arms, the shoulders, a bit more open. Let's go on to opening our hips and waist. So we'll just start with the lower body as if it's set in concrete. You might want a slight bend in the knees here as well. Feet shoulder width apart. We just imagine the head fixed in space as well. Just open up the inner waist initially. Nice subtle movement. 3 times one way, 3 times the other. Just to bring a bit of a subtle opening in there. Okay, so now we're going to move the entire hips to the side, and the head can move as feels right. I imagine this one a bit like a spinning top, and the opposite way. Okay, so let's go for that tray of teacups and get that spiraling going right the way through the body. So we're going to bring the arms above the head now that we've opened up the wrists and the shoulders. You can bring those arms, fingers facing behind us. In fact, if I go for a lower position today, and then we're going to bring it round, fingers point away, fingers point to the abdomen, fingers point away crossing, fingers point behind, cross. So we've always got them palms facing upwards, imagining we're holding a tray of teacups. So away, abdomen, away, behind, and once we've got that movement, we can bring in the hips. So as the arms go over the head one way, the hips go the opposite. So we're bringing a nice spiraling into the whole body. Imagine it spiraling up the soles of the feet, up the legs. Imagine those teacups sitting on the palms, and next time you reach the center, go in the opposite way. So again, you might want to just get the arms first, facing away, crossing, facing away, facing the abdomen, facing away, facing behind. And then when you're ready, bring in those hips. It took me quite some time to coordinate all of this. And I'm really glad that I persisted. Found it quite frustrating at first. And yet it's such a wonderful whole body exercise now. I really enjoy it. It took time to get to this place. Okay, so let's just take those palms and imagine pushing down into the corners of the room, giving those shoulders and the arms a nice little opportunity to open up slightly more. Lovely. Let's get that spine and the back nice and open. I've been feeling my lower back quite a lot recently as well. So the first one we're going to do is called knocking on the door of life. And that one's going to open the spine in a twist. And we're knocking to either side gently, as feels right, either side of the spine, but never directly on it. So just imagine initially turning from this inner waist, just between the hips here. We're just going to turn from that part of the body. It's really subtle. And then we just let the arms follow along. This one's actually called water waves. It's a lovely one to empty the mind out. And then as the momentum builds, you might want to start looking behind if that feels comfortable. And then you can let the arms go and let them gently lift and tap on the back. So this one, knocking on the door of life, it's knocking on the lower back, lower abdomen, and around the point that in Chinese medicine is the bodily energy center, the Jing, the lower dantian. So we're just giving our body a bit of a wake up. And Lee Holden calls this one the natural caffeine shot. So give this a try sometime instead of having a coffee and see if it makes any difference. Got to admit, I definitely feel more alert after it. Gently easing off. Lovely. Right, another nice one just to open up the back, especially if you spent a lot of time seated or you're really feeling as if there's a compacting through the spine, is called picking the cherries. And I'll kneel for this one so that you can see it fully, because we're going to take one arm up and one arm down. And what we're doing, we're imagining with the arm that's lifted, we're imagining picking cherries and we're anchoring down that hip. So we're getting a bit of a stretch in the side body. Again, noticing that line between the crown and the tailbone. Just imagine the vertebrae getting a bit of space. Breathe in nice and gently. You don't have to do this movement with the breath, and do it at a pace that feels right for you in this moment. Sometimes I find myself doing them faster, sometimes really slow. Bringing a bit of extra awareness to it. Why am I feeling that in the shoulder, in the side, in the spine? Couple more. Lovely. Arms to the sides, just noticing how the spine feels. And let's open up to the front and back of the spine, the chest and the upper back with spine cord breathing. I'll show you this one from the side. So we're going to breathe in, to open them arms up, open up the chest, looking up slightly, and breathing out. So again, this is opening the neck, opening the chest, nice and slow and gentle. Find what feels good. Always alert to the whole body. How does it feel in your back, your chest, your shoulders? Letting the breath be soft, deeper, and really get a nice deep breath with that opening. And you can always breathe in the opposite direction as well. So you can breathe out at this point and breathe in if you want to accentuate a bit of space through the back body. And you can bring the elbows to touch in front to accentuate that. And I imagine the vertebrae opening to the front and the vertebrae opening to the back. Just imagining a bit of extra space in the spine. This one, a lovely one to do just before bed or anytime you've had a busy time. It activates the parasympathetic system, switching on that rest, digest phase, switching off fight, flight from a busy day, relieving the stress response in the body and letting the body restore. Oh, final time. Really let the back body open. Lovely. So we've opened to the front and back. We've opened in a twist. Let's just open slightly to the side of the vertebrae now. This one's a lovely one that's opening the reptilian spine. And this one, you can just imagine you're between two panes of glass. Heard this called dog wags its tail, and we're just imagining the tailbone swishing beneath you. Just imagining like a snake, that whole spine is just gently again lifting slightly in the crown, so you've got support right the way through the spine, never overextending, and just inviting, imagining the potentiality of space through each of those vertebrae. I quite like this movement, just find it quite fun. And who doesn't love a bit of fun? So, getting a bit of a roll on them shoulders as well. I think we're pretty much warmed up. Let's get our lower body a little bit more alert. So this one, you can take it as wide or as narrow as feel comfortable. And we're just going to do some gentle squats. For those seated, you can just rub your arms up and down the fronts of your legs. Just bring in some awareness. Imagine the tailbones dipping down, trying to keep the spine nice and straight. Really bringing attention to the foundation, to the soles of the feet, the knees, lifting from the core, I imagine. Seems to take some of the tension off my knees. So we're lifting with the whole body, with the crown, the shoulders. Every movement, a whole body movement. Lovely. And then you can open up to the side and to the side to change that slightly. Let's just get those knees open. So be careful and listen to your body. You know, my knees can be sensitive sometimes. So just some gentle circles. You can do this one with the knees relatively close together as well. And then let's just finally, the ankles and the toes, ones that can get missed, really give those toes and the ankle a nice flex. They can take a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, a bit of a pounding, especially if they've been doing running or anything. Just give them the opportunity to shake off any tension or tightness and to fully open that joint to all of its directions. Giving the toes a bit of freedom as well outside of shoes, especially. We've got a warmer day than we've had, so been letting them loose. Okay, so we'll do our usual shake the tree and go straight into our QiGong Basics, the same sequences we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So start fit in our Wuji position, feet slightly shoulder width, and just gently bouncing. Really let those wrists flick. Really let the shoulders drop. Just like lifting the crown, awareness through the spine. Imagine lifting up and down from that core and the tailbone, so the weight's not fully in the legs. One moving part, the whole body. This is how we soothe babies when they're upset, when they're agitated, when we don't know what's wrong. And I just imagine shaking loose any tension or tightness, whether that's internal, whether that's muscular, whether it's emotions. There's some nice deep breaths and an audible ha. Sigh offers some stress relief response in the body as well. Slowing it down, and come into our Wuji stance. So we'll hold this for a couple of minutes and then go into our flow sequences. So the knees are slightly bent, the crown's lifted, chin's slightly tucked, the arms are rounded, the backs of the hands in front of the abdomen. Imagine they're just corks floating on water. Imagine this like lifting in the core and the front of the body, feeling the whole body balanced like a tree. And when your body all feels situated, you can feel all four corners of your feet on the surface beneath you. And gently bring your awareness to the breath. Just noticing where the breath's landing in the body. Inviting it to slow and deepen. You can bring your awareness to the whole torso. Invite it to sink deep and low. Wherever that lands in your body today is perfect just now. Nothing forced. Just an invitation. And you can focus on the abdomen or the torso. Just notice the rising and the falling. And then you can gently get curious. Is it stretching out to the front, to the back, to the sides? You can notice that breath to all four directions. Again, inviting that breath take all the space in the lungs that can. Finding what feels good in your body. Being patient. Meeting your body here and now, asking nothing of it. Wuji, they call the highest state of nothing. State of active presence and alertness and yet relaxation. And we can complete the microcosmic orbit by placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth to link the front and the back yin and yang channels, if that resonates. Final 30 seconds or so. Really invite the body to take up the space it needs. Imagine a lift in the crown. Feel the strength of your legs. And noticing the breath. And now you can let your awareness sink like a pebble to your abdomen region. To that door of life, to that lower dantian. Because it's from this place we move in all of our flows in the QiGong sequences. If it helps to imagine a ball of white light there, just give the mind something to pay attention to. And bring the arms in front of the chest. And we're going to start with one palm up and one palm down. And this one is swimming dragon. This one's like 2 elevators. Again, the arms aren't overly extended. I feel like an Egyptian when I do this one. Some of them hieroglyphs, maybe they too gave their spine a bit of a stretch. This one, I imagine a slight bit of spaciousness. It's like lifting the crown, dipping the tailbone. As if each time there's a bit more space through the spine. Turning around that middle finger, palms meet. And with the breath, breathing in. And when the fingers meet, we're pushing, we're breathing out. Turn. Always meet your own breath. The beauty of these sequences is you can learn them and then you can listen to your body. No 2 people will be breathing the same or feeling the stretch in the same place. Bringing awareness through the whole spine. A couple more times. Really let that lift. And this time we're going to come to our slightly wider stance, which we call the Mabu stance, so horse stance. So we've got our Wuji stance, and then you can just take from the heel of the foot, shimmy out the toes, then push out the heels, and then bring it to straighten. And that's about the stance. Okay, so from that place, we're going to have our knees bent. We're going to have our palms facing inwards. So you can imagine we're in prayer posture, and then you take one palm going down, turning from this waist point. So we're going to turn on the heel, turn that leg, turn on the heel from here. So you can see turn on the heel, turn that leg, and then we're going to bring the upper arm's going to come down, and that lower arm's going to throw the frisbee. All the movements coming from this region, the waist. So back to center, staying nice and low, knees bent, turn on the heel, turn in the waist. So you're imagining you've gone from this plane You can imagine holding a pane of glass between your hands, one hand at the top, one hand at the bottom, and you're turning that pane of glass. And then you're turning, and that lower hand is throwing a frisbee. And the upper hand is staying kind of 90 degrees from that. And then it comes back to center, turn on the heel, turn from the waist. I'll now widen my stance. So you can see the hands more clearly. So the hands holding a pane of glass. Turn and tilt. Throwing the frisbee. And with this one, the arm that throws the frisbee stays quite rounded. The fingertips end up pointing towards the wall in front of you. This one diagonal flying. And a bit of strength through the lower body, suppleness through the spine. Whole body is engaged. And I love the idea that throwing a frisbee, it's quite a fun ways of supporting the body that can feel fun, hence the minion top today. So we're coming back to center and onto cow gazes at the moon. So we're back into Wuji with our legs, tailbone dipping, slight bend in the knees. And our palms are facing the chest and the heart. I'm going to turn to the side and we're going to exhale to lift those horns. Cow gazes at the moon. This one's good for the stomach, for the pancreas, for the earth center and digestion. And you can imagine the stomach and the back body and that part of the body just pushing slightly back. Just imagining it. Imagining a bit of extra space. Cows renowned for their multiple stomachs, their digestion. And the moon associated with water and circulation. So we're supporting our blood flow and supporting our stomach, our digestive processes, the reception and integration of that nourishment. And I find the moon quite a nourishing, gentle energy as well. The moon is new today. So we're making space for whatever new seeds are there as we simply gaze up at that emptier sky. Cows looking. And just notice how that feels, just that gentle turn in the inner way, so subtle. You don't have to do much to invite space. We can imagine. We can support the body in boundless ways. Bring those arms. Now you can leave them raised or you can lower them while you get into your, again, Mabu. So remember, from your Wuji, scooch out the toes, scooch out the heels, bring them straight, and you're in your Mabu. In this one, we've got our palms again at our chest. And we're going to bow and arrow. So again, we turn on that heel. The arms stay in that position as we turn. Don't overextend, so whatever position's comfortable. And then the arm nearest the wall behind you is going to lift and become your arrow. And the other arm's your bow arm pulling at the string. We're looking down at the horizon at our target, and there's this bowstring comes, it pulls us to center. Staying nice and low. Turn on the heel. Lifting that back arm. Front arm pulls. This one, a nice one. Imagine any intentions, any goals or hopes. We turn, we draw the bow, we look out, target in sight, and then we let it go. Trusting we've done everything we can. I'm waiting to see where it lands. You can breathe in to draw. And exhale to center. Find what feels good. When if, like me, you notice your legs widen, you can scooch them in at any time. So never wanting that to be uncomfortable. The flows especially is relaxing. We've created space in the body. We don't need to overstrain it. Final time. Really make that one count. Bring it back to the center. Heel toe back to Wuji. Palms in front of the abdomen. And some nice deep abdominal breaths or chest breaths, just letting the body settle, letting the breath sink, the mind sink. And just noticing how the body feels now. Perhaps scanning the mind. How do you feel now compared to when you started? Where's the breath now? Always noticing and checking. Feeling the body upright and alert. That lift still in the crown, the dip in the tailbone. As we now take those arms around to the sides to gather up. And just imagine purple light from the heavens washing on down through. Right the way through to the tips of the toes again. Lifting from the core. Purple light scanning, releasing any further tension or tightness, letting it all wash out. Letting it all be, I imagine this one like smoothing. Like when you've baked a cake and you put icing on and then you're just smoothing out. It's that final touch. Letting it all spread evenly. Now you can imagine gathering whatever quality of energy you need and bring that into your core as your legs come together. And gently circle the abdomen. It's like bending the knees. And you can stay in this one as long as feels right for you. Bamboo sways in the wind. Today we'll just take a couple of abdominal breaths. Then we can widen our stance whenever you're ready. Circling around the abdomen, up the right hand side and down the left, like following the intestines. Imagine it rubbing your lower back if that's sore as well. Nice final deep breath and release with an audible sigh. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you same time next week. Take good care. Namaste.